Nancy Drew, Worst of Blackmoor Manor. A story by Arglefumph, and read by him too. This is Chapter 18, The Telescope. The telescope lens must be used on the telescope in the room, Nancy read from her book of clues. It can also be used to unlock the moon piece. Wait, what moon piece? Nancy explored the room for a bit, and she found the proper indentation on the seat below one of the windows. She put the telescope lens inside the circular hole, then turned it. One of the plates retracted, revealing a puzzle. Nancy sighed. Why does every puzzle just lead to another puzzle? She asked no one in particular. This was another astronomy puzzle. Nancy recognized the signs for Gemini and Leo. She pulled out her phone and looked up her horoscope, which read, "Today, you will solve a boatload of puzzles, do other people's chores, and almost get killed several times." I've had the same horoscope every day for the past several years, Nancy noted. She pressed the astronomy signs in order, and the wall retracted again. Inside the small alcove was a metallic piece shaped like the moon. Gotcha, Nancy said, slipping it into her pocket. It seemed to be about the same size as the clock piece she had gotten earlier. Perhaps the two were connected somehow. Nancy went to Jane's room and spoke with the young girl. Hey, Jane, there's a telescope stand in my room. Do you know what happened to the telescope? I took it outside to look at the stars, Jane said. If you want it back, you have to play a game with me. That's the rule. Suddenly, Nancy had a vision of Jane, 20 years in the future. Mummy, I'm hungry, said James, her 6-year-old child. Can I have some supper? Jane scolded her son. Not until you get a high score on Super Mario. That's the rule. But I keep losing. I haven't eaten in days. Please, just let me have some food. Whining again, James? For that, you'll have to play Model Match 10 times. No! Nancy shook her head. Jane, I am very concerned about your obsession with games, she said. However, because I have no other choice than to follow the commands of a 12-year-old, I will play your game. Hooray! Jane said. Jane produced a jigsaw puzzle, and she told Nancy to solve it in under 5 minutes. Nancy didn't understand why Jane thought it would be fun to watch someone else do a jigsaw puzzle, but she went along with it. The jigsaw puzzle was of a weird rabbit thing. Done, Nancy said when she finished. Great, Jane said. The telescope is on my desk. Nancy frowned upon learning she could have just taken the telescope at any time. She thanked Jane, then took the telescope to her room. Attaching the telescope lens to it, Nancy found that she was able to see hidden symbols in the mural. There were 5 symbols, all of which were numbered. Nancy didn't recognize them. Seriously, Nancy whined. Every puzzle leads to another puzzle. I'm not even part of the Penvellyn family. Can't they just give me the solution already? Nancy's getting a little whiny. Chapter 19, Jane's Door Puzzle. Nancy skipped ahead in the book to the next Penvellyn. Charles said that each of the pillars in the main hall could be opened by a specific key. Someone with all the keys could open the pillars. That sounded like a surefire way to destroy the pillars and make the ceiling collapse on her, so Nancy skipped to the next page. Charles's other main accomplishment was creating the tapestry in Jane's room. He said the poem written on the tapestry was connected to the door. The biggest achievement in this guy's life was knitting? Nancy wondered. Glad I didn't live in the 1400s. It sounds boring. Nancy headed to Jane's room. To the right of the door was a lock, which required a key. Fortunately, Nancy had the correct key. She stuck it in the lock and... It's stuck! Nancy cried. Nancy took a closer look at the keyhole, grumbling the entire time. Clearly the keyhole was badly made if it didn't work after 600 years. Fortunately, the keyhole wasn't missing any parts. The parts were just old and refused to move. Some liquid would probably loosen them up. Since Nancy didn't have any WD-40 with her, she hawked up some fluid and spit in the keyhole. That got it to work perfectly. When I tell other people about this puzzle, I'll say I used butter that I got from dinner, Nancy decided to herself. Oh, and I'll make it seem like ordering food was a puzzle. That way I'll look like a smart detective. When she used the key, a staircase popped out so she could reach the tiles above Jane's door. It was a slider puzzle, and Nancy could see that she needed to move the tiles around so they were in the order indicated by the tapestry. "Forget slider puzzles," Nancy said. Instead of sliding the pieces into place, Nancy ripped the tiles off of the wall, then put them where they belonged. It was very simple. When I tell people about this, I'm going to pretend it was a ridiculously hard slider puzzle, Nancy decided. Solving the puzzle opened up a small compartment. Inside was a lightning bolt key for one of the pillars in the main hall. "Hooray!" Nancy said. "Only 3 more pillar keys to go." Chapter 20, The Statue of Mercury. The next set of puzzles that Nancy had to solve were from Elinor Penvellyn, the woman who was rumored to be a witch. Her section of the book explained that the strange ghostly bells that were heard during her lifetime were actually part of a security system she built into the manor. It allowed someone to spy in the library by using the device in the hidden passageway. Needless to say, Nancy had no idea what Elinor was talking about. Nancy headed back to the hidden passageway, behind the gargoyle. On the main floor level, she saw the side passageway in question. Nancy went through it, and she saw an odd statue. Its hands pointed out at her, and there was a peephole. Nancy checked the peephole. As promised, it let her see into the library. She couldn't see anything interesting besides the statue of Mercury in the corner. She double-checked the book. "If I press fingers on the left hand, the statue changes direction," Nancy said. "And if I press fingers on the right hand, the eyes of the statue change direction." Nancy tested it out while looking in the peephole. She could see the statue rotating, but she was too far away to see the eyes move. "Ah! Evil moving statue!" a voice shouted from above. Either Jane has been sucking in helium to make her voice high-pitched, or that's Nigel, Nancy decided. "Mommy! I need my mommy! Please help me!" Nigel screamed. Through the peephole, Nancy saw Nigel run away from his desk towards the door. He accidentally ran into the door and fell down. "The statue has cursed me for learning too much about the Penvellyn secrets!" Nigel shouted. He got up, opened the door, then ran away, hooting like a howler monkey. "Awesome," Nancy said. She made her way back to the library. The statue was facing towards the peephole, so she could easily take the wand key in Mercury's hand. When she reached for it, she found it was stuck. "Huh? Let go, Mercury!" Eventually, she realized she couldn't take the wand because Mercury's eyes were looking down at her. She had to go all the way back to the hidden room and try a different finger. This time, she pressed the finger which made Mercury's eyes face left. Nancy had to go back and forth between the library and the hidden room in her quest to figure out which finger made his eyes turn upwards. After the 5th trip, she got frustrated and picked up a heavy book. She used it to break the arm off of the statue. Picking the wand from the crumbled statue remains, Nancy said, "Hooray! That's the 4th pillar key! I only have to find 2 more!"